Hello folks, welcome to the Delta Report. I know I haven't done a show in a while, but I am thinking about new formats for this channel, and we're going to get on here and we're going to do a show today, and we're going to use our imaginations for a minute. Think about it being the year 2050 and everything's changed. Maybe we had our big war, WW3. Maybe it's over for a long time, you know. Maybe society is improved upon itself. Maybe we got a letter from the 2050s. Somehow a time machine. Send a letter back to our time, telling us what automobiles would be like in the year 2050. An imaginary letter. So I'm going to read from this imaginary letter. And just imagine, if you will, take a look at this car from the 1950s. It's not overly big. It's much more simple. Hasn't got all these complex devices in it, but it's got everything it needs to go from point A to point B. I mean, I know, because I used to work on cars when I was younger, you know, a lot. I was an auto body repairman. That means I fixed the body of cars, not so much the engine or transmission or the mechanical side of the cars, but more the bodies of the cars. But I understand cars real well, and I understand how hard it is to replace and repair these modern cars that they have now. What you do is you open up the hood of a modern car and you can't even hardly get your hands in there. It's plastic everywhere. Wires running this way, wires running that way. Computerized ignition systems and boosters, and it's a total nightmare. And the people who are structuring cars now, the companies, the big companies that are making cars, they're making it so only a dealer can work on it. They have to have the right computerized equipment to reset modules and things like that. And it's an absolute nightmare for the mechanics that's having to work on it, because they can hardly get their hands in there. And when they're moving their hands around, plastic items and things like that will snap and break because of pins and clips and things, little plastic clips and things they put on everything down in there. And they generally end up busting their knuckles, and there's a lot of cursing when they're trying to work on it. Now, these are trained professional mechanics that are having that hard of a time working on these modern cars. So, these cars back in the 1950s, if you opened up that hood and looked in, you'd see a huge amount of distance between the firewall of the car, or the outside, the inside core support of the fenders, and the engine itself. I mean, there's such distance between the engine and that outside that you could actually open that hood, you could climb inside, and you could stand inside there because there was like a foot or more between the engine. Talk about easy to get your hands in there to service things, like if you wanted to replace the spark plugs or something like that, you know. And just about anybody could work on cars back in those days. I think with our modern technology, I think what we've actually done is we've actually went backwards instead of going forward. So I made a fictitious letter of the future. Somebody in the future writing about the cars of the future. And I also perceive that at a certain point that the government's probably going to have to take over the auto manufacturing industries. This is my thought on it. And the reason why is the direction that the car manufacturing companies are going in. It's the biggest harm for the Earth's environment that there is. The way they're doing it now. These cars are making them more and more disposable. And this is their philosophy. This is what they want to do. They test all the items on the car. Buttons, switches, engines, Transmissions, like a lot of these new cars have CVT transmissions. They got a belt inside the transmission. It's only designed to last a certain period of time, maybe 60, 70,000 miles, and then it just starts slipping. All the way through. They're designing them to fail. They're designing them to be like Bic lighters. You know, when the fluid runs out in your Bic lighter, you dispose of it. The cars are becoming more disposable. So what do you got there? You got several thousand pounds for maybe 4,000 pounds of steel. You've got all that plastic, all of the different types of materials that are coming out of the earth, out of the earth's environment. And about every 2 years they change, or even every year, sometimes within a year, they'll actually change the body style and actually change the parts. 1 year's parts won't even fit the next year of the same model practically. So it's a total mess. Some cars are, you've got two different systems of measuring bolts, metric and standard. Why do you need two systems of measuring bolts? Why do you have to have so many different types of threads on all the nuts and bolts inside the car? Why do you have to have so many different types of fasteners? Nothing's standardized. And all of this is problems that's hurting the Earth's environment. Costing. The fact that somebody drives a car for, say, 6 years and then it ends up in a crusher. If they'd stick to the same model year after year after year, not change the parts, so that the parts would become modular on an automobile. So that you could use parts from a model from 10 years earlier. Say a car got wrecked, say it got smashed. Well, all the available parts on the car would be modular. So you could use them in subsequent years to save on the Earth's environment again. And you know, the cars they have now, these enormous engines that they have in these cars, far, far, far in excess of horsepower what they need. Gas guzzlers. We could do so much better. And as far as all of these things that they're demanding that the auto manufacturers put on cars, that a lot of them that relate to safety, as far as I'm concerned, a seatbelt's all you need. Side door impact beams and airbags, it just all adds to the weight of the automobile. Other things that they've taken away, like bench seats. So practical, a bench seat. They can make it so easy to remove the seats out of a car. Why do you need all the soundproofing? They'll add an extra couple 100 pounds of soundproofing inside the car. To me, that's just a luxury. Air conditioning, again, a luxury. A heater, I consider even to be a luxury item. Why do you even need a dashboard on the car? There's an extra 100 pounds or so of weight that could be removed, especially if you don't have heating or an air conditioner. All you need really is a steering wheel and maybe 2 gauges. You don't even need a dashboard. It's superfluous. Stripped down from all these amenities, power steering, power brakes, anti-lock braking systems, all of this stuff is just, as far as I'm concerned, is garbage. And then they'll make that car with all of those garbage items on it, and they won't protect the metal on the car by going through the little less necessary precautions of galvanization or processes of tempering the metal, especially on the undercarriage so it won't rust through. So you'll see a car that weighs 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, and it has all of these luxury features, but it ends up scrapped after 6 years because it's rusted. There's holes rusted in it because they didn't protect the metal. This is the biggest thing that is ruining our environment, is these disposable, huge, monstrous vehicles that burn so much gas and create so much pollution. And so I'm going to read you this letter in the future that I wrote, and it's just something I wrote for fun. It says, the A1A is the car of the future today. Ever since the government took over car production in 2030, our scientists have been refining a car. Not just any car, a car with new technology. And now, in the year 2050, you can have the car of the future today. Protect your planet's environment by not only cutting carbon emissions with the A1A fuel economy of over 100 miles per gallon, with combined mileage, city and highway, over 100 miles per gallon. The A1A comes in 4 legal colors: blue, red, black, and green, all flat tone paint. So it's easy to repair, easy for people who are doing spray painting and stuff to get the color right, because there's only 4 basic colors, and none of them are metallic. so it's easy to do a color match. So you get hit in the fender, smash fender, just a few bolts, fender comes right off, you put a new fender on. Made out of special galvanized process so that it will not rust. So it comes in 4 legal colors: blue, red, black, and green, all flat tone paint. And it's illegal to have a shiny car. It's illegal to have high gloss. It says here, it says all other colors are illegal. High gloss is illegal. Also, you have your choice of engines in this new A1A car. And it would look something like the car there. That's something what it would look like, you know. You have your choice of engines. You have an 885cc 4-cylinder gasoline engine that puts out 45 horsepower. And it's capable of going 60 miles an hour with a 3-speed gearbox. And you also have, it says here, you also have your choice of engines: a 45 horsepower 4-cylinder gas, or the 900cc diesel engine that puts out 32 horsepower, or the electric version with a top speed of the top speed on the gas version is 60 miles an hour. On the diesel version is 55 miles an hour on the top speed, and it says here that it's 40 miles an hour for the electric version. It says the A1A will have your head spinning with the speed you're able to go at, especially if they were to make a convertible. You can imagine going 60 miles an hour down the highway with the top down, with your hair blowing in the wind. So, it'll have your head spinning with the speed. And don't worry about your A1A needing repairs. Every home mechanic can fix your A1A with just a few simple tools. Just a screwdriver and 4 sockets and a socket wrench and a pair of pliers. That's all you need to fix this thing. There's only 3 different socket sizes, and they all have the same tread all the way through the car. So it's so easy to repair. And all of the nuts and bolts on it are all tempered so they resist rust. So it says here, a few simple tools to repair. So it says the transmission just went bad in your car. It says, don't worry, it can be fixed in less than 10 minutes. The whole car has there's just there's just three simple sized bolts all the way through the entire car, all with the same tread pattern and nut size. It's easy to get at the transmission. You just remove 4 bolts and the whole thing just slides right off the engine. You don't have to lift the engine out or anything like that. It's excellent engineering. It's all got to do with the engineering. It hasn't got to do with anything else. And it's easy to get your hands in there to work on it. And the transmission only weighs about 35 pounds. Heck, the engine only weighs about 80 pounds. You don't even need a chain, a hoist to lift it out. The engine, you can just unbolt it and undo the engine mounts. About another 4 bolts, and the engine just slides right on up and out. You can lift it out by hand if you're strong enough to lift 80 pounds. All the bolts take the same tread pattern, it says here, and nut sizes. So there's 3 nut sizes in the entire car: 8mm, 10mm, and 12mm. So to remove the transmission, it says here, just pull 4 of the 12mm bolts to slide out the old transmission, and slip in the 4 new bolts and tighten them up, and now you're on your way again. All parts of the A1 are modular. Each of the 1,000 different parts are stamped with a part number. So you can refer to the manual online, and it shows you where that part exactly goes on the car, so you can assemble your A1A yourself. So they're all stamped with a part number. So you get in an accident. What are you going to do? You crumple your fender. No problem, because all the years of A1A parts all fit every other A1A. And you can order the parts, or you can use used parts. And you can just unbolt that fender, or just half a dozen bolts. The fender pops right off, and a new fender pops right on. And it's designed with little cups underneath the fender, so that the fender aligns itself. So very little alignment is needed between the fender and door. So a person can do it right at home. They can repair their car. Don't even need to take it into a shop. So all parts fit all other years, and you have your guarantee from the government that we will never change the parts or body style from year to year, ensuring a perfect fit. So just remove the 8 to 10mm bolts holding the fender, and presto, slip that new undamaged fender on. There, it only took 10 minutes, accident fixed. And the A1A is a no-frills car. It's not built for safety. It's only equipped. It's not built for safety, and it's only equipped with seat belts and no luxury features. No power steering, no power brakes, no power anything. It weighs only 1,800 pounds, the entire car. It says your A1A can carry a 600-pound payload. That's 4 thin people and their groceries, or 2 average-size Americans and their groceries, or 1 person from Texas and a big box of Twinkies. Where were we? The A1A can carry it all with its 2 bench seats, 1 in the front and 1 in the back. Made with pressed and molded galvanized sheet metal body panels, the A1A resists rust. Lightweight gauge sheet metal is used to ensure a light weight in the car. Don't let those kids jump up and down in the back seat too hard, or their foot might go through the flimsy floor. The A1A is designed not to remove road noise. You won't find any frills in this car, no rugs inside, just a simple galvanized sheet metal floor, hand cranked windows. To make more space inside the car, we have removed the dashboard altogether, and we just have 2 gauges, speed and tachometer. No radio, no air conditioning, no heat. You'll thank God that this car is so simple. But buy your A1A today. The people's car, built for reliable transportation. Whoops. Built for reliable transportation and fuel economy. The electric version can be charged on a normal household outlet of 110 volts. Only takes 10 hours to charge it. It has a range of over 100 miles. The gas version has a 4-gallon gas tank and a range of over 400 miles. And the diesel version has a 5-gallon tank and will go and go and go for over 600 miles on a fill-up. Whatever model you choose, the A1A comes in a kit form from your friendly government. It can be assembled in a weekend in your workspace. All the parts are numbered, and the online manual is simple and easy to understand. A trained monkey could put this car together. All the parts are modular and interchangeable. So no matter what year your A1 or A1 Model A is, you have only 4 simple tools needed and required: a screwdriver, a socket wrench, and 3 sockets, and a pair of pliers. In about 36 hours of your time, you can build it completely from scratch from a kit. Comes in a big box. The UPS driver or the FedEx driver or the what do you call it driver, the Amazon driver will just drop your box off and slide it in front of your house, and that's your complete car inside there, wheels and all, brand new tires and everything else. Choose what color you want, flat paint, right? And then you got something really reliable for transportation at that point. And then it's super easy on gas. This is the way to go to save the environment. It says, the government, now this is just a fictitious letter, guys, right? It says the government are in the process of removing all other cars from our road systems due to their unreliability and their overconsumption of the Earth's resources and their high carbon footprint. Customizing your A1A with aftermarket frills is frowned upon. Aftermarket items like cabin heaters, radios, colors other than the officially approved colors, shiny paint jobs, an unmatched paint such as red fenders on green cars, and other things done by the younger generation to customize their A1A will not be tolerated and can only get you arrested. Wow, so the government of the future is pretty tough on cracking down. So join us in saving the planet and get your A1A today. This is a message from your friendly computerized government. What does that mean, computerized government? And then there's a jingle at the end. It says, be a happy citizen today. Drive and travel about in your officially approved Brave New World car, the A1A today. So there's your A1A. And he's got the fancy red version with the flat red paint. Right? And maybe they'll dress like that too in the future. You know, they dressed snappy back in the 1950s, and with those hats and everything. They're neatly groomed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this show. It's just a fictitious show. It's not, don't take it seriously. We'll catch you guys later, and you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.